Hello, this is Victor at RestoreMercedes.com. I was working on this car all day today, and I'm kind of tired to edit video with all the other segments that I've made. I've made quite a few segments, and I don't feel like editing this. So, as you can see right now, the engine has been power washed, and I'm just checking up on the throttle body because idle speed is still high. Engine runs decent, but still not there, not the right way. Throttle body is disconnected, it's unplugged, and I pushed the plate over because the throttle body plate sticks. But as you can see with stock plate, the idle speed is 680, so at least I'm in the range, more or less in the range. And well, that's better, but still that's not the right way, because you can't just have throttle body pushed by hand and get it to be stuck so you get normal idle speed. That's absolutely improper. But looking from here, as you can see, the engine is cleaner. There is still some smell because water is still vaporizing, and some, I can still smell of the byproducts of mice living in this engine, so obviously. But right now you can see the idle speed is lower, and that is encouraging that it can get lower, but it's not right. I mean, I know it's not right, and I already found the problem. I did find the problem today, but I'm shooting this video right now at about maybe, I don't know what time it was, like maybe 1 o'clock or so, and I finished at like about 4:30, and I found the problem around 4:30. Took me a while, but again, that's going to be in the next video. So over here, I'm just walking around trying to see what's going on. I'm gonna plug the throttle back in. Right now I have to push the plate to get it to be unstuck, and so it's moving. As you can see, it's moving when I push it with my finger. Never do this, really. That's just like not a right way of touching these things. These throttles are expensive, so I'm going to show at this in a second right now what throttle is doing when it's doing the learning curve. So you're actually going to see how it gets to close all the way. There it goes. If you look at the plate, how it's going to act, that's a learning curve. You're going to see how much it's going to jump backwards. So let's just wait for that. Just waiting. There it goes, closing. Look how much it jumped back. It's like a feedback was crazy because it gets stuck, and then it just has to, the motor has to work harder to push it back out, and the plate jumps back out like violently because the motor had to put on much more force. Now all these codes, because throttle was disconnected, but the top code, the idle speed implausible, it just kept coming back. It just keeps coming back. It's just the idle speed problem is still there. But so I was suspecting the throttle body at first, but it wasn't the throttle body. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm gonna have to edit the long video for the whole day that I made all these little segments. And right now I'm gonna show the throttle body plate jumping when the car is running, which is also not proper. So that's what made me think that throttle body is at fault. As you can see, the plate, looking at the plate, it's not stationary. It keeps moving, and it's moving too fast. It will move. I have another video where I show that the normal working one. Well, this one is moving too fast. Right now it's actually not as bad as it used to be. Before I made this video, when I was testing the car, it was moving way more violent than this. This is nothing. It was just moving 1/8 of an inch, just easy. This is good. And but nonetheless, I did take the throttle body off. I took it apart, I cleaned it inside, I moved the brushes around, I cleaned the plate, and I rearranged the plate so the plate is not sticking anymore, and that's a good news. Now I'm just looking at real values here and there, just to see what's happening. Well, just because I want to see the codes, I want to see the values. And right now I also noticed that when I was doing something, I think I unplugged my evap valve, that little pulsating valve, so I plugged it back in because the code came for it, and idle speed code, it was still there. I actually went as far as checking the value, live values, actual values on the pedal, on the throttle, voltages, many things, and it all turned out to be still a vacuum leak. The pulley is spinning, just checking that out. And yeah, so at this point, at least I can more or less work on this engine, because most of the byproducts of the mice were cleaned off. The throttle, as you can see, the plate is still moving, so this is not the finished product. But my concern was the throttle. You know, when I touch it, I could feel the pulsation on the plate. And again, you know, this is something that you do not want to do if you don't know what you're doing, because you push it too much, you break the, you know, the motor can spin quick and it can break the plastic gear inside the throttle body. These throttles are expensive. You don't want to mess with that. It's just what I was doing is I wanted to have a feel of it, and yeah, and it was pulsating, so that's not good. So yeah, the problem was still there. So at the end of the day, I mean, I did find it later in the evening, so I'll show you that in the next video. Right now is just, you know, I'm just still walking around checking the values and doing things, checking on the computer, see what I can see, because it was very bizarre, and the problem was very weird. It was induced problem. It was not like something broke. It's just somebody who did some work on it, they screwed up, and this engine didn't run right for probably the longest time ever, because it was pretty bad. Here's the learning curve again. As you can see, the poor thing jumps right out like open, because it just gets stuck. And I did correct that. Yes, I took it off. I did realign everything, so now it's not sticking. But in this video, I could never get idle speed to be normal when throttle body is connected. So that's basically getting to the end of this video. So again, I don't want to edit the video of all the other segments I made, the engine before, the engine after, and just looking at live values just to make sure that I have preconditions met. The idle speed is way high, 1700 RPMs, seriously. At least all the other readings are okay, but idle speed is too high, way too high. Ignition angle is not right either though. It's like in positive territory. So anyway, I'm gonna get the other video edited and I'll put it all together, and that should do. Alright, so stay tuned for the update.